IGT, baby.
What's cracking, y'all? It's your boy Junior Mafia coming back to you with another video. So we got to talk about what happened on Monday Night Raw. And man, there's some shit we're going to have to discuss. And it's about the opening of the show and whatnot. So we're going to get into it. Let's not waste any time. So we had Adam Pearce to kick off Monday Night Raw in Sacramento. And he's pretty much discussing the status of Seth Rollins and his injury, and a beneficial that he's going to have to pretty much get surgery. So that means he has to vacate the title. So you see on a Titantron, Black Chuck pull up, and you see Braun Breaker. He has the World Heavyweight Championship, the same way he had it last week when they took out Seth Rollins, and he was pretty much carrying the title like it was his. So you see Paul Heyman and Bronson Reed comes out, and they making their way towards the ring. So as they get in there, and pretty much Adam Pearce explaining everything that's going on, and because of Seth and him having to get surgery and him vacating the title, there still has to be a champion to be crowned, and CM Punk being the number one contender, the best way we can find out who's going to be his next opponent is a battle royal. And it's beneficial that they're going to have it tonight. And the winner of that match is going to face CM Punk at Saturday Night Main Event in Salt Lake City. So Adam Pearce turns his attention to Braun Breaker and says, with Seth being hurt and vacating the title, that's not his, and it sure as hell ain't yours. So he's telling him to pass on the title. So Braun Breaker looking like what if I don't? Like, what the hell you gonna do? So Paul Heyman had to pull him aside and say, like, listen, just give him the title. It's not worth doing all that extra stuff. And he was saying, I'll do it. You just gotta say please. And he just pretty much humiliating Adam Pearce because, he's not going to give the title to him until he shows him some respect and say please, and I'll give it to you. So it took everything out of all Adam Pearce to just say it and just get it over with. And even when he did it, Braun Breaker said no, and then passed it right to Paul Heyman. And Paul Heyman had to pass it to Adam Pearce. So you already know he was already pissed off with that. So he leaves out the ring and all that. Now, this cuts into Paul Heyman, and man, he buried Seth Rollins in his promo. So he brings up about, I know y'all booing us like we the villains and all this other stuff, blase, but at the end of the day, when it came down to the vision, Seth Rollins was never a part of that. He said when he did the stuff he did at WrestleMania, he said, I never turned on Roman Reigns. He said, I ain't turned my back on my best friend CM Punk. He said, and this wasn't for Seth Rollins. Like, when I did this was for Braun Breaker because he's the future. And he kind of saw that what he did at in Perth, Australia. And it took for him to like see that and say, you know what, that's the vision. That's the people that's going to lead us, in the future of WWE. Then he looked at Bronson Reed, and him saying, like, I did this, for Bronson Reed as well, because, he was able to, take the rings and be the tribal thief, after beating the tribal chief. So he put in those two things right there, and pretty much was saying that when it came out of Seth Rollins, like, with the shoulder injury, he couldn't pretty much lead us, in the future and all that stuff. Like, he just downplaying his injury and somehow how he couldn't, he couldn't lead this group. He couldn't, lead. I mean, he was like, he wasn't the workhorse champion of the Shield, or the workhorse of the Shield, to put it that way. He wasn't a visionary. He wasn't a revolutionary. And just called him a bum shoulder bitch. And when I say he just straight up decimated Seth Rollins, and pretty much was saying that if I'm being honest right now, Seth Rollins wasn't even supposed to be in the main event of WrestleMania. He was saying that it was mostly going to be Braun Breaker and all that, but they pulled the trigger, on turning on Seth Rollins because they felt like if something was going to have to change, they pretty much getting him out of the way. So after that was all said and done, and Paul Heyman pretty much downplayed Seth and made it sense that this is all about Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed and all. They left about it there, but I want to say one thing, and this is true. Cody was right, and he told Seth Rollins this: like, you putting all your trust and your faith into Paul Heyman, thinking that he's really like here for you and really care about you and all that, but he don't care about you that much. Like, he looking at the future of Braun Breaker and all that. And once he felt like he got them at the right spot where they needed to, where they can actually be main eventers and all that, he gonna push you right into the curve. Like, he gonna give a fuck about you. And these were the things Cody was saying to Seth, and Seth was not buying it until reality smacked him in the face, and you saw what happened last week. So, it's for all intents and purposes, it was coming down to it, and that's the brutal part about it. So, I definitely want to see how things is going to turn out once Seth gets back, because rest to show you this ain't over, and he's coming back with a vengeance. So, we'll fast forward towards later on in the show, and backstage you see Paul Heyman. He going towards Adam Pearce's locker room. So as he knocks in, Adam Pearce opens the door. He's saying, "It's crazy that you're here, Paul, because I wanted to tell you right now that I pulled Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker off of the graphics card." And he was saying like, "Well, why would you do that?" He said, "Well, why not? I mean, and everything went down. I took them off." And Paul Heyman asked him like, "Well, can you put them back on?" He said, "I think about it, unless you say please." So he's kind of, doing everything that Braun Breaker did. When he had the title, when he asked for the title, and Braun Breaker told him to say please and stuff like that, he kind of like reversed it on to Paul Heyman. He said, if you want them on a graphics card for the Battle Royal later on tonight, you need to say please. So Paul Heyman goes on them and says, "Oh, can you put them on there, please?" and all that. And Adam Pearce says, "That's all I needed to hear. Like, that's all I asked for." And then proceeds to still say no and leave it at that. So I thought that was hilarious on what he did. But this is the most interesting part right here. When they cut to Paul Heyman and he's about to get ready to leave, in comes Becky Lynch. Now, she just coming off of her match against Maxine Dupree, for the Women's Intercontinental Championship, that she ended up disqualifying herself for. So she comes there, and she looks pissed, and the reason why, because she heard everything what Paul Heyman was saying at the start of the show. And Paul Heyman is looking like, "Listen, I'm pretty sure you heard everything I said out there and all that, and I'm not gonna lie, that was the truth. Like, your husband couldn't lead the vision, into the future and all, and then the fact that he hurt his shoulder and all that stuff, like, what were we supposed to do?" Then it's like, I can understand from you, like, you might be upset on what's going on and everything I'm saying right now, but it's the truth. And even brings up that, what would sound better? Like, your husband being home and you being the workhorse champion, that now that you're here now with somebody like me, like the Oracle, and we help out each other. So Becky literally wraps up his top, pulls her straight to him, and says, I never trust you. She called him a big penguin prick or penguin prick. One or the other. She calls him that. And was saying that I had never liked you in the first place. I never trust you in the first place. And meaning to say, if you think Seth Rollins trusts you when he tried to align himself, with you and all that, it's like, nah, he thought 10 steps ahead because he know the type of person you are. Dan brings up that when it's all said and done, when he gets back from his injury and all that, like, he's not looking to hurt you and all that. Like, nah. Like, you the least of his problems. He said, she said, whatever Nepo baby you have right now that you pretty much leeching on, which of course, he talked about Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. He says, when he gets back, he's not going to kill you. He's going to kill, who you have in your inner circle. So I think for Becky, that was like, she was spitting some real factual shit there. But let's call a spade a spade. We know Seth Rollins ain't gonna kill no Braun Breaker or Bronson Reed, but it just has you looking further to when he comes back and the mission he gonna be on. So, me talking about it do no justice. I will advise y'all to go check it out. I think it was a very good segment and all that. So once that was all done, laying on the show, you see Jimmy and Jay, and they chopping it up, and of course they talking about what happened last week, on Raw, and Jimmy was talking about like this whole thing going on. Like, I don't know what's up with you, but you need to really like get your shit together, and saying that Jay was talking about, like, what, it's on me. Like, I'm sitting here, I'm getting off my game right now, and saying I need to focus more on myself. He said, yeah, you need to focus more on yourself and not worry about Roman Reigns. He's not here anymore. Like, for the time being, it's just us. Like, so you need to lock in and start worrying about you. So Jay said, yeah, like, you got a point. Like, I hear what you're saying, but also believe in what Roman's saying too. And with Roman, how he been telling him, like, yo, you need to go be that guy. Go get your title back. So Jimmy's kind of pissed off at this point now. And he was saying, like, look, this don't even matter right now. He said, you better bring your A game on, because we in this battle royal, and best believe I'm taking out everybody in there, including you. So you better prepare yourself for that. So I bring that up because it definitely plays a major part into the main event. So later on in the show, you see Paul Heyman with the Brawns, and Braun Breaker's pissed. He's pretty much saying, like, well, why are we not in the battle royal? Like, this needs to get fixed. And telling Paul Heyman, you need to find out some way how we're going to get into this match. So Paul Heyman saying, like, you know what, I'm going to figure something out. Don't worry about it, but I want y'all to trust me. And all that. And even brings up that, around 2002, bringing up Brock Lesnar and him saying that, we knew that he was going to be the next big thing and all that. But with him trusting me and all that, he was able to become the youngest world heavyweight or WWE champion, beating The Rock and all that, and sent his ass packing to Hollywood and all that stuff. He brings up the history with CM Punk, saying that before, when they was about to pretty much kick him to the curb and release him and all that, how Paul Heyman was able to take him under his wing, and look how he was able to blossom to being the WWE champion for the X amount of like days, like breaking the record and stuff like that. Then he mentioned the big dog Roman Reigns, and was pretty much saying like how he was pretty much a lost cause and all that until he was able to come under my wing and listen to me. And I was able to mold him into the tribal chief. So he's saying all of this to Braun Breaker and Braun Suri to let them know, if y'all listen to me and just follow what I'm doing, then I guarantee you there's a light at the end of the tunnel that's going to lead y'all, to gold and stuff like that. So they kind of like soaked it all in and was saying that all you got to do is just listen and just make a name for yourself. So as them talking about that, you probably thinking that they're going to probably interfere in this battle royal later on tonight. But that's not the case, as you will see. So we cut to the battle royal and all that. And because you had the Usos in there, LA Knight, you had AJ Styles, Dragon Lee, a lot of people there. And as the battle royal going on, motherfuckers getting eliminated, but I'm gonna go straight forward into the tail end of it. So you had these remaining people in there: Dominic, Jimmy and Jay, LA Knight, and I believe I think that was it. So LA Knight, he's him and Jay is starting to fight, and it looked like he's about to eliminate Jay at that point. So as that's going on, you see Jimmy pretty much super kicks LA Knight to save Jay. He brings him back into the ring and all. And AJ Styles, that's what it was, AJ Styles. He about to do a phenomenal forearm on the other side of the ring, and Jimmy and Jay end up super kicking him. And Jay was able to eliminate him. Then you see LA Knight, and he trying to eliminate Jimmy, but Jimmy was able to capitalize and eliminate him. So, no, actually, no, I'm lying. They Jimmy ended up eliminating AJ Styles. Then him and LA Knight start going at it and all that, and they end up, tangled up between the ropes. But Jay looked at it as an opportunity to go in and eliminate both LA Knight and Jimmy at that. And Jimmy looking like, yo, what the fuck are you doing? Like, we supposed to be like pretty much helping each other out, until like it's just two of us and all that. So he's looked pissed and shocked at the same time. And Dominic looked to take advantage of it, of course, with Jay having his back turned. And he kicks him like he about to go for the 619. And Jay was able to capitalize it and launch Dominic ass out of the ring. And now he's the number one contender to take on CM Punk for the World Heavyweight Championship. And in the midst of that, you just see Jimmy. He is just straight pissed off. Like, he's not making the reactions. He's not like excited for Jay to win because he felt like he was just doing like whatever it takes for him to win. Didn't give a damn who was there. And it got to Jimmy, and it's like, yo, like, you really did all this shit, and I thought we would have had a game plan coming into this to where it would just been down to us, and then whoever wins. But Jay didn't care about it. He used it to advantage to eliminate both of them, and now have his sole attention on the World Heavyweight Championship. So CM Punk gets into the ring, and they have a stare down and all that. And as they're like face to face with each other, if you look in the back, Jimmy is still pissed off about that. And this is gonna get brought up, for weeks to come, leading up to that title match too. So that's something we had to closely pay attention on and whatnot. So I'm looking forward to that. I do want to make light of this, and I know I forgot about it, but earlier in the show, we had the tag team match with the title on the line. The JD Madonna and Finn Balor taking on AJ Styles and Dragon Lee. And this match happened courtesy of Dominic, from Adam Pearce, talking about if you put in your title, if you want that match to go down with the with Finn Balor and JD Madonna and all that, you also got to put your title online. You said no problem. And when you go backstage, when they had an interaction with Dom, they were like, yo, like, what would make you go talk to Adam Pearce and have us put our title online because you felt like we wasn't, having not much title defenses and stuff like that. So this was all part of Dom's plan. and it completely backfired because AJ Styles and Dragon Lee was able to pick up the victory, and now is your new men Raw World Champions, World Tag Team Champions. So I truly believe they're gonna cost Dom that Intercontinental Championship down the line. I thought it would happen against Rusev, it didn't, and he actually beat Rusev clean, which is still insane to me. But rest to show you this, that the next title defense he has with the IC title on the line, Finn Balor or Jamie McDonough gonna play a focal point on that one. So we'll see how that thing turns out, but I had to bring that up real quick. But overall, it was a very solid show. Definitely enjoyed it for what it was and whatnot. If I had to give it a rating, I'd give it like a 7.5 out of 10. You know, it was really good. So there's that. But comment down below. Let me know, what did you think about Monday Night Raw? What would you rate it? Who do you think? Well, in this case, let me ask you this question: when Seth Rollins comes back, who do you think he's going to target first? So I definitely want to know that. And as always, I appreciate your love and support. Continue to keep God first. Trust the process of anything that you do in life. Your time will come. And I'm going to catch y'all on the next video. Peace.